thank you guys for coming out. We're so excited. I mean, right now, she's like the Beyonce of the animal kingdom.
She is the newest single-name celebrity in this world.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about how the show went off. A lot of it came after NBA All-Star Weekend, and a lot of the athletes were saying they were just the warm-up act to Westminster. So tell us about how the show went off. Was it everything you expected?
It was very well received, of course. 3,000 dogs and 192 different breeds and varieties. 2 days worth of dog shows, and culminated on Tuesday night with 7 great finalists. And by then, Will was worn out, but he had enough energy left to get Miss P to the Best in Show award.
Yeah. Well, you know, we see them for a few minutes on camera. We don't see the behind the scenes as much. Were there any surprises behind the scenes you can tell us about?
I don't think there really are any surprises ever at a dog show because it's so subjective. It's one judge's opinion at each level. And we always say at Westminster, the only surprise would be if there were no surprises. So it was a very competitive hound group that she won. She's the number 9 dog in the top 10 dogs in the country last year, so it wasn't a total surprise. She's won. That was her 20th all-breed Best in Show.
Wow.
So she's very competitive and has done a lot of winning with Will Alexander. Will's from Toronto, and the dog is owned by a mother and daughter team from Vancouver, British Columbia, in the Vancouver area. And one of the other co-owners is Eddie Zook, who was a co-owner of Uno, her great uncle. You all remember Uno. Give me an awe for Uno. Thank you. Back in 2008 when Uno was Best in Show.
That's right. And is that rare for a current winner to have had an ancestor that was a previous winner?
No, it really isn't. You know, that's what dog shows are all about, really, in theory, is to identify superior breeding stock. The healthy, happy dogs are going to create the next generation, either to be a show dog or to sit on your couch at home. So we're happy when that happens.
Okay, so Will, tell me, did she know what was at stake?
Yeah. Well, I do think she did. I think she could tell through my body because my anxiety was up and adrenaline was flowing, and she's like, "What's with you?" But yeah, she starts to get excited. I can tell. She builds up, and you can feel her muscles tighten like an athlete, and she barks at me, and she gets all excited. She knows when she's on stage. There's no question.
You can tell how intense she is here, right? Thank you. Nice way to follow the cues there, Miss P.
And the moment she won, it was kind of funny because you got the impression that she was like, "I got this, I know." She was excited and she was jumping around.
When the judge walks out with that ribbon, she's used to seeing it. She starts, it's all I can do to hold her still. She wants to run out there to see him. And she knows that she should be the one that gets that ribbon. It happens, and she doesn't always win, obviously. There's so beautiful dogs out there.
Yeah.
So when the judge came out there, she starts trembling and watching out there, and you could see her looking. And when you said Beagle and I responded, she knew it was us.
Now, did she make any dog friends? Like, I'm hoping she and Rocket are best buddies because Rocket was the cutest Shih Tzu ever.
Well, actually, she has hung out with Rocket because Rocket's handler Luke and I are best friends since junior handling, since we were kids. Wow. So she's hung out with Rocket, and he has a big motorhome, and we hang out in there sometimes.
Wow, so it really is a kind of small world.
Yep.
So what's next for Miss P?
Miss P is, we're gonna choose her a husband. Sorry, P.
Is there like a doggymatch.com or something like that?
Well, we'll go through pedigrees and we'll talk about it, and then she'll have puppies.
And so this is her last. Is this her last show?
It's her last show, yes.
Oh.
What else can she do?
Right, when you reach the top. So, this also must change your world a little bit. It gives you a lot of street cred in the doggy handling world. Are you now getting lots of calls to, train other dogs?
I don't know. I haven't been home.
Will he's he won't tell you this, but I'll tell you this. He's one of the great handlers in both countries, in North America, but he certainly is the top handler in Canada. And one of our best here is evidenced by this win. So this isn't his only winner. He's got a lot of other good winners, too.
And so now that Miss P is going to retire and have children, what will her days be like? Will she be sitting on silk pillows, being hen-fed? Food?
I would think she'll spend a lot of time outside because in Enderley, BC, where she's from, it's nice weather there, and she'll wander around with the other dogs, and she'll be the queen bee. There's no question. She'll tell them she's home, and it's time for them to move aside.
Right. So I'm sorry, I have to go back to how you pick her mate. I'm so curious. I think a lot of the single people in New York would be curious how this works too. So how do you go about finding the perfect dog to breed her with?
Well, we're going to look at a bunch of different dogs, and hopefully we'll have a consortium of all us. We'll sit and talk about it, and we'll decide dogs through their pedigree and through their looks and how they move and how they carry themselves and how their personalities are. Because I don't want to change much on Miss P. I want to just move it along a little bit. That's all. It's going to be hard. So We'll come up with somebody.
So a couple questions about Miss P. What are her favorite foods and what are her favorite activities?
Her favorite foods? She's a beagle, so her favorite foods are food. But she's fond of, when I bait her at dog shows, I use a lot of those carvers, the little treats Pro Plan comes out with. She really likes those. And she likes liver treats and dog cookies. But she's pretty easy to please that way.
She's a superstar, but like a regular dog, just like all of our dogs at home in a lot of ways.
Yeah, well, for sure.
She is a Purina Pro Plan dog. She was our 9th straight Best in Show winner who's fed Purina Pro Plan. So on behalf of our sponsor, we're happy for that. I will tell you this. She did set the new record yesterday in devouring the sliced steak served to her on a silver platter at Sardi's. Wow. So it was pretty amazing watching her put that away.
She doesn't like to share.
I wouldn't either. That sounds delicious. And so this being the 139th year of the dog show, and next year is 140. Any surprises or anything new coming up for next year we can look forward to?
No, well, we're going to have 7 new breeds next year. This year we had 2, and we brought them here to AOL a couple of weeks ago. 7 new breeds next year will give us a total of 199 breeds and varieties. So that'll be the fun new part next year. But the fun new stuff every year is basically seeing the next great dogs perform. And it doesn't matter in our world. It doesn't matter what breed they are. You're not yawning while I'm talking, are you? It's like all my other audiences, yeah. So that's what's fun. It's fun to see the competition. It's fun to see 199 breeds and varieties. But mostly it's fun for everybody to pick their own favorites and root for them. I think half the time, or a lot of the time, people pick their favorites based on what they have at home. I call it the alma mater factor. If you're sitting at home with your beagle on the couch next to you, you're going to want to watch the beagle and root for the beagle and maybe think, you know what, Miss P, you and I could be out there too if I fed you a few less cookies. And I gave you a bath once a week instead of once a month, and if we did a little road work, both of us. So it's a long, hard process, but to get them to this point.
Well, that makes me wonder, what is it about Miss P that made her stand out from all the others?
Well, first of all, she's a great specimen of her breed. You know, the judges are judging them against a standard that describes the ideal specimen of that. Did you ever see the bit on Letterman a few years ago where the guy was holding the dog in his arms and he says, "Okay, play dead," and the dog just flops over. Maybe they don't need to tell her that anymore. I just talk. Where was I?
We were talking about what makes Miss P so special.
Well, she's a great specimen of her breed. The judge is judging them against a standard that describes the ideal specimen of that breed, and they have to be able to picture them not only fitting that standard, but also performing the job that they were bred to do. She's a rabbit hunter, like so many other hounds. And I don't get to see her doing that in the show ring, but I get to imagine it in my mind. And that's basically at the breed and the group level especially important. At the Best in Show level, you know you're going to have 7 great dogs in there.
Right.
So you need to look for something else, whether you call it charisma or pizzazz or personality. An old-time dog show judge once said to me, "It's a dog show and you got to show." And she owned the ground she stood over. She gave you her personality, and she just put on a great show. She's a beautiful feminine version of Uno. All of us who love Uno are now learning very quickly to love Miss P as well.
And I just have to ask, her hair is like the softest I've ever touched. What shampoo does she use? Because I totally.
They have better hair products than we do. There's no question.
Well, she's adorable. Now, will this inspire a lot of people to go out and get beagles? Is that what you see every year? The winner becomes the most popular dog?
I'm sure the phone is ringing these last couple of days at the National Beagle Club of America. So it's important for people when they're watching us. I mean, it gives us a chance to give the lessons that we hope we're doing for 2 nights at Westminster. Yes, you can learn about these breeds. You can see how they might fit your lifestyle, and maybe they appeal to you. Don't rush out and buy one on impulse. Too many dogs end up in shelters because of that. You buy them on impulse. You don't think about what they're going to grow up to be. They're all cute little 4-pound balls of fluff at some point in time. But make sure you know what you're getting. Make sure you know that all the proper health checks have been done when you have that opportunity. But most of all, whether it's a purebred or a mixed breed dog, make sure that it's going to match your lifestyle. Dogs end up in shelters because of a change in your lifestyle or because of the predictability issue that it grows up to be something that you're not ready to deal with. And that's part of what we're talking about at Westminster. We want this to be a perfect world where all dogs, mixed breed, purebred, or otherwise, have great homes forever. So that's important to us.
Yeah, it's a great message. So why don't we take some questions from the audience? I'm sure people want to know more about the divine Miss P. You back there with the black sweater?
Thanks. So how has Miss P been traveling around New York? In a black car, or, how does that work?
Well, we have one of those huge black buses, the mini bus, if you will. So she's been traveling in style. She fits right in. And we pull up to the door, and people rush out to open the door, and they, oh, it's a dog, it's Miss P. And walking down the street of New York, people watch the show, and they watch all the news shows that we've been on the last couple of days. We were on Fox and Friends. We were on the Today Show. We were on The View. We were on Fox 5. We went to the top of the Empire State Building yesterday. Had sliced steak on a silver platter at Sardi's on Shepard Smith. We did the Keith Olbermann show. We closed the nightly news with Lester Holt, my former partner on TV, by the way, for 3 years. And she had a walk-on role on Kinky Boots last night.
What? Oh my gosh, tell us about that. What was that like?
Well, she walked on, to open the show, she walked on from stage right, and the star walked on from stage left, and he had a line all ready to deliver, but the crowd went nuts. So he really didn't get to deliver the line. I think he finally did. I don't know how many people actually heard it because they were too busy cheering and clapping for her when they realized who she was. And the line was something to the effect of, is this the dog that just won Westminster? And that woke up the rest of the people who were there. And then she came out for bows at the end, too.
Oh, that's so
it was a great experience. The people at Kinky Boots, we've done it with them last year as well, and they say as long as we're running, you're going to have a job. And I think that means we're going to be there for a lot of years because it's a great show, Kinky Boots, and we're having a great time with that.
That's fantastic.
And then this morning, we're coming from Donald Trump's office, where she got to meet Mr. Trump. And he's very gracious with us every year. We take our best in show dog there and have a great time. We were on Sports Illustrated online, and we were on CNBC Squawk Box this morning.
Wow.
We are going from here, as you heard Suzanne say, to the Ronald McDonald House, where we're going to see some of the pediatric oncology patients and their families that are there. So,
she'll cheer up. Every room she walks in, she brings smiles to their faces. So.
Well, that's what it's all about with therapy dogs, and she's going to be great at that kind of stuff. We walk in and somebody smiles. Right. They smile. When they haven't had much to smile about for a while, they talk when they haven't had much to talk about. We get their mind off the challenges they may be facing, and it's great, especially with kids, when the parents can say to you, that's the first time she smiled all week. Mm-hmm. And we're going to get a lot of smiles today.
That's wonderful. Let's take a couple more questions. Right there.
How many hours typically a day goes into training with Miss P in the weeks and months leading up to competitions like this?
Well, she's been with me for about 3 years now. She trains constantly. She works on a treadmill daily. Not while she's here, but and she's regimented. Her diet is regimented more. It's easy for a beagle to get chubby, so we got to watch her girlish figure. She likes to run freely in the field with the dogs as well. She does that well. That's not as structured. And the grooming part of it, she gets bathed probably or bathed probably twice a week, and I work on her coat and polish her up and keep her neat and tidy. So that goes, I show a bunch of dogs, so my whole day is spent like that, and she's part of that day. She's on the schedule.
I feel like a lot of celebrities have the exact same regimen.
I have to tell you this, and you probably see it here. We walk into a green room, and everybody in the building comes to the dog. And they say, we just had Kevin Costner here, and we had about 6 people come to see him. And God love Kevin Costner. We were just on a show with him. But, they see the celebrities all the time, and the dog comes, or we call and say, we'd like to bring the dog. He said, come on, bring the dog. And everybody comes to see the dog. They get a picture taken with her, and which I think we're going to do here in a little bit for all of us. Yeah. Everybody relates to the dog. We all love our dogs. They have this great place in our families and in our hearts. And so we're happy to share her with everybody today.
It's true. Let's take one more question.
You explained about the care of the dogs. What goes into a good trainer running with the dog?
Like myself running beside the dog?
Yes.
Well, I've been doing this my whole life. I apprenticed under another professional handler. And you learn to work with your dogs, move with your dogs. My ex-boss used to call it, you got to try to be a stealth jet beside your dog. You're not supposed to see the handler, just the dog. So you have to learn to time yourself. Is that what you meant?
Yeah.
Okay.
It must be a lot of work. It takes a lot of dedication, I imagine, to dedicate your life to this.
Well, it's a 24-hour-a-day job because they're live animals. Well, she sleeps in my bed, and she'd sleep all day if I let her, so as you can tell.
We all.
Will is a little modest to say, but, the great handlers, you see the dog in the ring for 2 or 3 minutes, but these guys have spent their lives getting them ready for that moment, and only to hope that your dog has its moment of divine inspiration when the judge is looking at it. So it's not quite as easy as it looks in the ring. There's a lot that's gone into that, and Will and others in his world are such hard workers to present these dogs in the beautiful forms that you see them.
We've had such a great time watching Miss P be crowned Best in Show. She's beautiful. Thank you so much for bringing her. On behalf of Mom.me Pets and AOL Build, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.